Hello, welcome to another screencast. In this one, we will be learning about adding and subtracting rational numbers. On the previous screencast and in class, we did a review of how to add and subtract fractions. But in this screencast, I will also be including negative fractions as well. So it's similar to previously, but we are just building up on our knowledge for 7th grade math. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. To add rational numbers, if you notice in this example right here, there is a negative in the front. Okay, now there's no mixed numbers here, but if we didn't have a mixed number, the first step would have been to change them to improper fractions. Okay, why we want to change them to improper fractions? Because of the negative symbol, it would have made it a little harder for us to add and subtract them, a little bit more confusing. So we change them to improper to make life easier. Okay, but since in this example there's no improper fraction, we do not have to worry about that. There's no mixed numbers, we do not have to worry about that. So here we need to go ahead, first step will be to rewrite the fractions so that they have the same denominator. What do I mean by that? Similar as before we can add or subtract any fraction, they must have the same denominator. Same thing here, there's nothing new. So let me go ahead and recopy this down. So here the LCD will be 6, so we can multiply the first fraction by 2 to get an equivalent fraction, and this will be negative 16 over 6 plus 5 over 6. Then the next step will be to combine them together. So that will be step 2. We need to write the sum of the numerators over the like denominator. So now I can go ahead and put them together. Negative 16 plus 5 over 6. Okay, and then we apply the rules for adding integers. So negative 16 plus 5, different signs, we subtract again. So that will be negative 16 plus 5, which will be negative 11 over 6. Now sometimes we might have to simplify or change it back to a mixed number. In this case, there's no need to simplify it, but we do need to change it back to a mixed number. So in this case, to change it to a mixed number, remember we do 11 divided by 6, and 6 going to 11 one time, and remainder 5. So we will read it as 1 and 5, 6. Remember, we read it clockwise, 1 and 5, 6. So this will be negative 1 and 5, 6. Please do not forget the negative. It's negative 1 and 5, 6. Okay, now let's move on to the next example on how we subtract rational numbers. Now, in this case here, unlike the first one, in this one we do have a mixed number. So first thing we need to do is to change it to improper fraction. That will be step 1. So let's go ahead and change the first mixed number to improper fraction. So here we do 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So this will be negative 10 over 3 minus 5 over 6. Then the next step will be to make sure that they have the same LCD. So we do times 2 times 2, and we have negative 20 over 6 minus 5 over 6. Then, similar as the first example, we want to rewrite the difference of the numerators over the common denominator. So this will be negative 20 minus 5 over 6. And then we follow the rules for subtracting integers, which is the same as adding integers. So these have the same sign, so we need to add them. Negative 20 minus 5 will be negative 25 over 6. And then we simplify or change them back to a mixed number. So now 6 go into 25 4 times, and remainder will be 1, because 6 times 4 is 24, and 1 6, and of course do not forget about the negative sign. So this will be negative 4 and 1 6. Okay, any questions? Please recap, rewind, stop, rewind the video. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do some practice. Okay, go ahead and pause, go ahead and try these by yourselves, and then come back to get the answers. Alright, welcome back, and here are the answers of the previous slide. So, number one, we have, switch colors back to blue. Number one, -7/8 plus 1/4. So, first thing we had to do, of course, was get the LCD. So, we had to do times 2. Times 2, and that's how this become 2/8, and when we combine them together we get -7 plus 2 over 8, and -7 plus 2 is -5 over 8. Now in this one, the first step will be to change the mixed number to improper fraction. So -6 1/3 to improper will be -19 over 3 plus 20 over 3, and then we just go ahead and add normally. There's no need to do anything here or here. Now number 3, please remember in number 3 they already have the same denominator, so there's really no need to do anything else but just to subtract them. However, you must remember that whenever you see a minus written like this, we need to change them to plus. So that's why here it's 5 plus 7 over 8, and we get 12/8, which is 3/2. Once you reduce it and change it to a mixed number to 1 1/2. Right, now number 4, 2 and 9 as denominators, they must have the same denominator, so multiply this by 9 and this times 2, and we get -9/18 minus -10 over 18. Now -9 stay when I'm combining them. However, remember, minus and minus, again similar as the previous example, will turn into a plus, so that's why we get this plus 10, and that will be positive 1/8. Okay, so that's it for today. Any questions, please post them on Edmodo. This was not difficult at all. It's just a matter of remembering how to add and subtract fractions, and also remembering the rules for integers. So any questions, please post them on Edmodo so that I can help you and you do not have to wait until you get to class. But please have your questions ready for class as well. Okay, so thank you.